Imagine you're with that woman you like. You're alone. The conversation is going well, and suddenly there's an awkward moment. A silence that isn't uncomfortable but heavy, charged with something neither of you can name. She looks at you, and you're not sure if it's the right time. You're unsure if you're reading it correctly, unsure if she wants the same thing as you in that exact second. That moment has a name: the window of opportunity. And it lasts between 7 and 10 seconds before her brain closes it again. What happens in those seconds is that her body has already made the decision before her mouth. She's not going to say, "Kiss me." She's not going to write it. She's not going to ask directly. Women don't work that way, but what we do is send physical signals so clear, so specific, and so involuntary that if you know how to read them, you don't need to guess anything. And I'll tell you now that the fifth signal in this video is the one that confuses men the most. It's the most honest, and at the same time, the one that 90% of men completely misinterpret. Stay until the end, because when you understand it, it will change how you interpret those moments forever. Hi, I'm Valentina. I've spent years studying the psychology of female behavior. What you're about to hear are the body language and micro expressions that women involuntarily activate when we want to be kissed, even if we never say it out loud. If you want to continue receiving this type of content every week, subscribe now. It's one click and it's worth every second. Let's begin. The first signal we give when we want to be kissed is to look at your lips. Not your eyes, your lips. The mistake most men make is thinking that eye contact is the only signal that matters, that if a woman looks you intensely in the eyes, it confirms her interest. That's true. But it's incomplete because there's a specific moment when a woman's gaze drops from your eyes to your mouth. And that half-second shift is the most direct sign that she's thinking exactly the same thing as you. The opposite of a woman who wants you to kiss her is one whose gaze never leaves your eyes or who looks away as soon as there's silence. A woman who doesn't have that thought has no reason to look at your mouth. For her, that area of your face simply doesn't exist as a point of attention. But when the attraction is there and the moment is building, something happens that researchers of nonverbal behavior call the triangular courtship scan. Her eyes move in a triangle. Your left eye, your right eye, your mouth, back and forth. Sometimes without her noticing, sometimes consciously, but she can't help it. The key point is this. When a woman spends more than 2 seconds looking at your mouth during a single conversation, her brain has already set the stage, already imagined what might happen. She's not waiting for additional signs that you're interested. She's waiting for you to make a move. At a Sunday barbecue with friends, even on a video call, this movement occurs. She's talking to you about anything and everything: work, traffic, Mexico City, you name it. And in the middle of that conversation, her eyes glance down for a moment. That moment is the most honest confession her body can make. Nonverbal behavior researchers have documented that involuntary eye movements toward the other person's mouth occur more frequently when there's a desire for physical closeness. It's not a habit. It's the autonomic nervous system showing where the real attention is going. If it happens only once, it might be distraction. But if her eyes glance down 2 or 3 times in the same short time while you're talking, that's no longer distraction. That's anticipation. What you have to do is respond to that signal in kind. The next time you notice her eyes glancing down at your mouth, let yours do the same to hers. Just for a second, no more. And then back to her eyes. You've just spoken to her in the same language without words. That exchange confirms that you're both on the same wavelength. The second signal is also subtle, but when you see it, you can't ignore it. Women touch their lips when they want to be kissed. Many men think that if a woman touches her mouth, it's a nervous tic or an unimportant habit. And in some contexts, it is. But there's a huge difference between an anxious gesture and a gesture of anticipation. And that difference is revealed by the context and the speed of the movement. The opposite of this signal is the woman who, throughout the conversation, maintains a still and neutral body language without directing any physical attention to her own mouth or yours. That stillness indicates that she isn't actively thinking about a kiss. The gesture you're looking for is specific. She runs a finger along her lower lip, or touches it with the pad of her index finger, or gently presses it with her knuckles. She might do this while she's